Hi, welcome to this short presentation. Today we talk about the SkySQL Data Suite. My name is Ivan Zoratti, and first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm the CTO of SkySQL. I work with SkySQL since 2010 when we kicked off the company. Prior to SkySQL, I worked for MySQL, then Sun, then Oracle. I worked with MySQL since 2005. The company I work for is SkySQL AB. It's a company with headquarters in Finland and subsidiaries in the US and presence in many countries around Europe and the rest of the world. We are number one provider for MySQL-based solutions for software and services around MySQL and the MySQL ecosystem. We're backed by Monty Program, a company 100% focused on the development of MariaDB, the MySQL alternative, 100% compatible with the original MySQL software, and by third parties that are active in the MySQL ecosystem. And our first commitment is really to provide the best solutions around MySQL, both for the community and for enterprise. Let's see the agenda today. We will talk about the SkySQL Cloud Data Suite architecture, and we will also see how this fits into Amazon EC2, since the first cloud data suite has been designed and deployed in Amazon. Then we will see the components for the automatic provisioning in AWS and the high availability that we have implemented. Finally, we'll have a quick look at the administration console that we have also announced only a few days ago, with some additions for the user in a standalone environment and the use of automatic backup and restore on S3. There are lots of slides, but I will try to make it quick. Of course, having a video, that means that you can go forward or stop for a while or repeat it, so that would be really helpful, I think. And of course, if you have any question, you will see at the end the links and to go and check on forums or email us in case you need more information. Starting from the origins of SkySQL Data Suite and a quick introduction, what you can see here is that the SkySQL Data Suite is a combination of elements that you can find, and you will see and find more information on our website on www.skysql.com. But the data suite itself is specifically designed to fulfill three main objectives. The one that you see on top is for online applications. Of course, we then have extra features that we can use or disable if we don't need them, related to high availability and to the use of full text indexing for these applications. Specifically for high availability, we have various options. Some are really used in the cloud, and others are more specific for standard data centers and bare metal or bare operating systems. The second kind of implementation of the data suite is in business analytics, where we use columnar engines, and we provide what we think is currently the best technology for data analytics with MySQL, also fairly powerful and comparable to definitely more expensive solutions that are not based on MySQL. And finally, we provide a carrier-grade solution based on NDB, the network database, also known as MySQL cluster. But specifically for the cloud data suite, we are focused on online applications, and we provide high availability through the use of replication. We have decided to provide only this element of availability for the very first version, because we have kept the implementation and the deployment of the solution fairly simple. We are dealing with a network within the cloud provider that is not totally under control from database administrators and system administrators, is of course controlled by the provider itself. Therefore, we believe that MySQL replication in a synchronous or semi-synchronous mode would fit better into this environment. If you want to distinguish between what we call Cloud Data Suite and what we have defined as Enterprise Data Suite, which is a name that we have given to our solution in-house and that we provide for our customers, the Cloud Data Suite is deployed only in Amazon AWS, and it's based on an automatic configuration and provisioning system. We will see a few slides that will present that. It is based on MariaDB 5.5. Of course, you can also use other servers like Percona server or the Oracle server, but MariaDB is the first the database that we have deployed, and the data suite relies on some of the features that are specifically provided by this database. And we work with MySQL replication in conjunction with Pacemaker and Corosync software. The administration console allows the database administrators and the users to interact with the database and to execute and perform commands like backup and restore, but not only. You can also control the replication and other specific components of the data suite. Then the enterprise monitoring tool that we provide at the moment is a trial version of Monyog. If you are interested in using a commercial version that is available from SkySQL or from Monyog, you can simply contact us. Then we provide phpMyAdmin for user administration and for user interaction. The support is basically through the community and using forums, so you don't have a specific technical support that has an enterprise level and of course also a price tag attached. We have defined this as a development release more than, let's say, something that can be used in production and GA. We have some production deployments, but we strongly recommend first to test this version, as we are talking about the very first version of the data suite, and of course it will take some time for any software to be stable and really useful for strong production environments. And with the exception of a trial from Monyog, the system is fully open source and licensed in a way where everybody is absolutely free to test it, try it, use it, modify it, or take some of the components from the data suite and reuse it for their own purpose. On the other hand, the enterprise data suite is deployed in clouds, but also in virtualized environment and on Bare OS. That's what we provide for our customers. It's a commercial version, although it's also based on open source software and mainly licensed under GPL. It's basically available through standard downloadable packages, and it includes the free database servers MariaDB, MySQL, and Percona. It also includes MySQL replication using MHA, DRBD, Galera, or share storage with Pacemaker and Corosync as high availability features. Zamanda Recovery Manager, which is a commercial version of a backup management tool available from SkySQL, plus the Enterprise Monitor, SQL Log as a user interface which works in terms of client-server operations. And of course, we also provide technical support for all these components. We define this data suite ready for production environments, and as I already said, it's a mix of open source and commercial software. The way the Cloud Data Suite is deployed, as you can see from the diagram on the right, is from, let's say, from your browser, you connect to config.skysql.com or cloud.skysql.com. You hit one of our servers at SkySQL, and through these servers you can configure your environment, and the deployment will happen online. At the moment, there will be other solutions in the future, but for the moment everything is automatic directly to the DB systems close to your application. So the deployment will be in your account on Amazon Web Services, or if you want to try SkySQL Cloud Data Suite on our accounts, of course you are free to do so with a limited time. This is what we have announced in September, and the data suite was available since September, and we had a significant number of downloads and configurations from all over the world. Now, in December, we have added and we have announced a release 1.1 with, of course, several bug fixes, and the new administration console. This new console is available also as a RPM package, and it can be installed on Linux OS. Let's say that we have tested it, of course, for Red Hat and Ubuntu Linux mainly. What we can do with the administration console is to basically use a specific package that can handle replicated and standalone servers. That is a difference since the previous version where we had only replicated servers. But we also have customizable graphs and customizable commands. That means that if you want to add your own command and insert it into the data suite and the administration console, you are free to do so. And so is for the graphs that are available by default. Let's have a look at the data suite architecture, which is the architecture that sits behind the SkySQL data suite. So the user will connect to the SkySQL web servers, as we said, and it will hit a configuration engine. Within this configuration engine, there is a repository, or let's say behind that, there is a repository that keeps all the rules that are available to provide the best configurator available, of course, for the user. That said, and that's defined, once the user is happy with the specific configuration, the configuration itself will be added to a provisioning queue. And this queue will be picked up by the provisioning engine that, again, resides within our premises, or let's say it is a SkySQL server. Now, the provisioning engine is also connected to a software repository that basically has all the elements available, the components that are of course available to provide the configuration that the customer has required. So once the provisioning engine has identified that all the components are available, therefore it's possible to deploy the system required, this request goes into the deployment queue, and the deployment queue is passed to a deployment engine. Now, specifically for the Cloud Data Suite, the deployment engine sends a request to the user account, and the user account will automatically request a AMI from SkySQL, which is publicly available in AWS. So with this image, the user will automatically have available the database servers based on MariaDB and the SkySQL software that will be automatically deployed into his account. That's what you can see, and the result is that once everything has been set up correctly, the user will also receive an email saying, okay, here are the credentials, here is what you can do with the data suite, here are the links to go and connect to the data suite itself. The whole process would take a few minutes. The provisioning and the deployment engine act on intervals that are of 1 and 5 minutes. Therefore, you may expect that it will take about 5 to 6 minutes to initiate the deployment as maximum operations. And then, of course, you should expect that it will take some time to deploy a certain number of instances into the user account on Amazon Web Services. This is something that unfortunately we cannot control directly. Therefore, we cannot guarantee that the whole environment will be set up into a specific and defined time. Once the data suite is available, The user has access to the data suite itself through various ways, of course. It can go and log into a terminal using SSH and using the PEM key that is provided, or it can use the administration console that we have already mentioned, or go through phpMyAdmin, or connect using Monyog. We have left the ports for the account open, but only for this specific servers because we have defined that these servers are for testing purposes. They are not ready for production. Clearly, if the customer or a user wants to use these servers in production, it will probably require more security constraint, such as reducing the number of open ports, if not just limiting only to SSH connectivity from the outside world. The whole environment is based on what we call the building block of a SkySQL Data Suite. As you can see, there are three main elements that are within this rectangle that you can see on the slide. The administration console that we have already defined, a replicator environment that sits in terms of background system, and the data store itself, which is a set of instances running MySQL, in this case specifically MariaDB, within the data store. Now, the software that we have used is a combination of free software that you can see here. The admin console works with a front end based on Apache Tomcat and a back end that is based on SQLite. We also have added the Monyog software from WebYog as a trial, and phpMyAdmin for a user interface. Then we have Pacemaker and CorosSync as a software that we use to manage the high availability within the system. Extra Backup is also used to create backups and stream them automatically to S3. GlusterFS is part of the replication environment that keep everything consistent and high available within the system, within the building block that you see here. And MySQL replication is the standard replication mechanism that we have adopted for MySQL. Finally, MariaDB is the database server, and the standard Amazon distribution based on Linux 3.2 is what we use to deploy our servers. The data store is also based, and I already mentioned, on a public SkySQL AMI. You can see some of the environments based on MariaDB, like MyISAM, InnoDB, ExtraDB, the optimizer, and virtual columns. But in a simple sentence, it's a standard MariaDB 5.5 MySQL compatible server that you see here. We use Pacemaker to control the failover, and then of course we have multiple file systems, specifically two file systems that are associated to the blocks, to the EC2 block storage, one for the system and one for the data. The number of servers that are deployed can be up to 4 at the moment, 1 master and 3 slaves. And these 3 slaves are used for high availability and for the backup or restore operations. The administration console is a graphical console that of course gives you an idea of the status of the cluster, and as you have already seen, there are lots of other elements that have been described in the previous slides. Through the console you can start, stop, isolate or promote nodes. You can interact with the MySQL command line interface and work directly with the server, or you can basically manage the automatic or manual failover within the console itself. And finally, on the replicator, we have the standard MySQL replication in asynchronous or semi-synchronous mode. That depends on the configuration that the user has required. And GlusterFS on ext4 that is used to replicate data collection and monitoring. We can't, of course, forget that when we talk about high availability, we shouldn't think about high availability only for the database, but we also require high availability for the administration console and the other components that are available. So finally, the provisioning is based on a call on let's say, to create an instance on the user account in EC2 by requiring a specific AMI available publicly from SkySQL. The deployment system will pass some information related to the way this AMI should then be instantiated. There is a variable definition that is used, of course, to configure the server in the right way for the user account. And also other scripts, of course, are called. That means that the myCNF is automatically created. There are some other files that are configured on the fly, and the scripts that are executed to properly set the AMI. Once the AMI is called, and many instances have been up to 4, as we said, they have been deployed to the user account, then there is a process that starts which is called adaptive distributed setup within the user account. These 4 servers they interact each other, and they set up the master and the slaves automatically. They identify which is the best machine to go and let's say, become a master, and what are the other machines and what they, of course, can contribute as slaves. On the master server, for this version, we apply also an elastic IP address that is used, of course, to interact from the external world, but also to define the availability of the master system within the cluster that we have deployed. Now, in terms of deployment, we can have a deployment for a single server with the MySQL and the administration console available, or we can have a server with a master system and a certain number of slaves that can, of course, become master in case of failover. Or finally, we can have synchronous, just to be specific, semi-synchronous replication, and semi-synchronous replication plus regional replication, inter-regional replication on AWS. This is, of course, the highest level of availability that we can provide through the SkySQL Data Suite. The deployment involves changes into and additions into EC2, into the IAM account, S3, and these are the 3 main elements. But with a new version, you can also connect the administration console to some RDS instances that may be already available on the account. Now, let's have a look at the deployment, how this happens. The first element related to let's say the deployment on EC2 requires basically changes on the instances, on the volumes. Of course, we will create new volumes, security groups, and the IP address. That is the main element. Now, the automated provisioning starts from here. As I already mentioned, you can see the URL config.skysql.com or cloud.skysql.com. Then the first selection is either you want to use your own AWS account, or you can use a SkySQL account, which is time limited within 48 hours, but you can use it for free. The first page will show you let's say, a simple interface that gives you the ability to define the number of concurrent database users, the database size, the type of reliability that you want to use, and the purpose for your database. Based on these simple questions, the provisioning system will create a configuration specifically for you. Of course, if you need help, you have a button on the right that gives you immediate help on what you can do, and then again on a further right, you will have like a real-time check of what you have defined and what the system is going to provide for you. You can also switch to an advanced interface where you can, of course, specify more details, like the example you can see here is that, yes, You can define the concurrent users in terms of maximum concurrent connections, but you may also define the number of writes or reads per second on maximum or average, and that again will give the provisioning system and the configurator system more information that can be used to set a specific configuration file and a specific configuration within the account. The next step is to provide a cost estimation on Amazon. Of course, this is really an estimation. We cannot define the traffic that will be generated for these machines, and therefore the system can cost much more, or it may cost less in case not all the servers are always on. Finally, there is a choice regarding the delivery mechanism. As you can see, at the moment, only online delivery is available. Online delivery means that once you click the button, you will have the next button, you will have everything automatically deployed on your system. But that would imply a request from our side in terms of specific keys that some users are not keen to share, even if we are talking about, in many cases, temporary keys. So we will provide very soon two other configurations. One is what we call the pool configuration, which means that you can use an instance available from your on your account, and you can pull the configuration using a specific key from there, or we can email you all the steps that are necessary to exactly define the system that we have prepared for you. But if you decide to go on with the online deployment, then all you have to do is to provide a access key ID and a secret access key that you can get from Amazon. As I already mentioned, it can be a temporary key that will be available only for this activity, and then it will be destroyed and no longer used. It's important to say that SkySQL does not keep any key at all. The keys are used only for the deployment, and once the system has been deployed, the key is totally destroyed. The next step is to provide very, very few details, and the reason why we ask these details is because we need to send an email to a specific email address to define that we have deployed the system for you. The email can provide some information like how to access the command line, the administration console, the SSH connection, etc., etc. And then there are also some documents attached that explain how to remove the Cloud Data Suite completely. It gives an inventory of what's being prepared, and very, very important, the perm key that can be used to interact with the database servers. The result is an account with all the instances running, and many more information that are available that we are going to see now. So on EC2, what you can see that the data suite has created is several policies within one specific role on the Identity Access Manager in AWS. And these policies are used for the Elastic IP address, for the instances, because they allow within the cluster, they allow that instances can start, stop, describe each other, or some attributes can be created or described, and S3 buckets can be created as well. And this is useful because in this way we can set up specific backups on S3. The use of roles and these policies is a significant improvement in the security that we provide for the SkySQL Cloud Data Suite. No passwords are stored within the instances. Therefore, they are pretty secure because the control is managed at a higher level, and the system administrator only can remove these policies in order to stop and prevent the instances from, let's say, interacting again with each other. The next step, again, in terms of security, is to define security groups. All of these, as I said, is already automatically created by the SkySQL Cloud Data Suite. So as you can see here, the Cloud Data Suite has a very relaxed security group at the moment where many ports are open. The production environment will not see all these ports open because, as we have already mentioned, we are talking about a testing environment here and a kind of an alpha version, whilst the production, the GA version that we will announce very soon, will have these ports more controlled and more secure. The storage is available again in various formats, and that depends on the size of the database that the user has defined in the configuration phase. For each instance, there will be two block storages prepared, one for the system and one for the data. Now, one of the most important aspects related to the instances running on EC2 and specifically for the Cloud Data Suite is the high availability that we can provide. Despite the fact that the system should run comfortably without any problem, of course, failover is one of the most important aspects, and availability on multiple servers is definitely relevant in EC2 as well. We have used Pacemaker for the automatic failover of our data stores, and we have a specific configuration, a CRM configuration for Pacemaker. The nodes have been defined, and within these nodes we have added primitives that are used to control for example, the Elastic IP address, but not only. Many other elements like PHP MyAdmin, the SkySQL monitoring tool, Tomcat, the administration console, and so on. So the whole system is based on all these policies that have been defined, and they are controlled by Pacemaker and the resource agents that we have created. You can see here just an example of the fact that when you have defined the data suite in your environment, you have the Elastic IP address on the master, a specific connectivity related to the node, and then the public IPs that are available for the slaves as well. And here you have just an output of the CRM status through Pacemaker that gives you an information regarding the masters and the slaves that are available here. One of the last points that I want to show you is regarding the new administration console. So the console is based on a set of servlet containers that go through a console API. We are talking about a RESTful interface that is available today. So with this detachment, you will basically have the ability to use the administration console directly as a GUI, or to interact with this console in the backend side through your favorite tool for administration. So the console API will get access to the control database and to the SkySQL monitoring systems that are effectively controlling the databases within the data suite. The interface, the graphical interface for the admin console will show you a master server, which is identified by the star here, and some slave servers that are just the normal cylinders you see here. The system is context sensitive, meaning that you can select one of the icons, and the lower side of the window will give you customized graphs for the whole data suite, or only for a specific node, plus relevant information. And you can also, of course, have basic settings that are available for the console. Once you define or you select the nodes, you can also execute or define some commands like stop and restart a server, or you can create a backup from this server. It's important to say that the system is completely consistent, therefore it's not really necessary to execute a backup from one node. You can basically execute the backup from any node and specifically from the less used node, or you can schedule that this backup is performed automatically from the less used node, and the backup will go straight into S3, as we will see in a few minutes. The graphs are customizable in a way where there are some internal repositories where you can define the monitoring elements and the way this monitoring can create graphs based on deltas, on averages, and the type of charts you may want to use. And in the same way, the commands that are available have also a specific order, a set of steps that can be executed and referred to scripts that can be server and backend based scripts. Therefore, that means that these scripts can be attached to anything you may want to execute on the server, whether we are talking about specific scripts for MySQL or scripts for your application. Finally, let's have a very quick look at the backup and restore mechanism, where here you can see that we use extra backup and we can execute extra backup from the admin console. The backup can start in schedule mode, or you can start it on demand. You will see a progress that it will give you information regarding the fact that the node is basically backed up now. And the final results, once everything has been completed, is a full backup with log information that is available in buckets within S3. You can also set the number of backups that you want to create, and you can roll them in order to avoid to use too much space on S3 as well. So, just to summarize, why is the SkySQL Cloud Data Suite important for you? First of all, let me say you can test MariaDB and MySQL on AWS for free. You can basically fire a specific cluster and try and see what's going on in AWS directly without the fuss of installing anything new, and you can maybe do some comparison with RDS and EC2 and see what's better or what fits, of course, your specific requirements. You can use and you can fully control something that is ready-made, highly available, and within AWS. You can study, you can review all the security mechanisms and the availability aspects that are available, and you can use some of the SCDS components in your environment, as you can see here. But if you are interested in knowing more, first of all, I would advise try the configurator and see a how-to video on cloud.skysql.com. You can also download the SkySQL console and run it standalone from the link that you can see here. And you have forums from where you can read information regarding the Cloud Data Suite. On our website in www.skysql.com/cloud, you will also find more information regarding the products, and you can submit bugs if you find some. We hope not, but of course, just in case, you can submit it to bugs.skysql.com. And finally, as you said, try it, and there is a free account that is available for you. So thanks for listening. My name again is Ivan Zoratti. You can find me at ivan.skysql.com, or you can read my blog, and you can see also the slides on slideshare.net/izoratti. Thanks for listening, and goodbye to everybody.